Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Album Spotlight. This is where I put the spotlight on a new album in prog or related genres that I think my viewership would appreciate and enjoy. I like to talk about these albums and recommend them, give you an impression of what they're all about, and then let you guys go off and discover it yourself and pick it up wherever you listen to music, whatever service, streaming service or Bandcamp or physical media. If you want to pick it up in physical format is always recommended. So this is just my way of introducing you guys to great new albums and new music. If you're not familiar, there's a lot of classic bands that I talk about and love on this show, like Yes and Genesis and all of that, but I want to bring a spotlight to those bands that are doing it now and that are just as good as those classic bands and I think get widely forgotten. So I wish these videos would get a little bit more views, but I understand that it's not very common to click on something you're unfamiliar with. But if you have and you've stumbled into this place, hopefully you'll enjoy this review I have for you today, because it's a really good one today. This is Dream the Electric Sleep and their album American Mystic. This is a band from Lexington, Kentucky, formed in 2009. Guitarist, vocalist Matt Page and drummer Joey Waters recruited bassist Chris Tackett, and the trio spent the following 2 years developing a unique sound characterized by an eclectic blend of influences. So we've got the trio here on this record as well. They've continued forward into this modern day, into the newest record, American Mystic. And they're an interesting band. I don't really know how to categorize them. I think they're not really traditional progressive rock like you might expect me to talk about on this channel. They are more in that melodic rock vein, but they have some progressive leanings in their music that keeps things interesting and fresh. What I really like about them is they're able to infuse a lot of catchy hooks and a lot of good melodies and things that grab you and keep your interest, but it's not just poppy, forgettable music. It's driven by these great progressive type sections and things that beef out the sound and that really make for a more interesting and eclectic listen than just your standard rock record. So they're able to really blend these things in a fascinating way that gives them their own identity and their own unique sound. I like them also because they're not a band that you can just easily say, well, if you like Yes, if you like Genesis, if you like this band or that band. Really, they're their own singular thing, and it's hard to really tell you what their exact influences are because it's such a melting pot of so many different cool things. I almost was brought to mind of Jellyfish, if you're familiar with the band Jellyfish, who had a couple records in like the early 90s, more in that power pop type style. A lot of people have really glommed onto their sound and aesthetic, but they have this poppy, throwback style, but done in a more 90s grunge type way that I think is really fascinating. And I think this band really has that sort of ability to have these pop hooks, these really cool harmonies that really are sublime and hooky, but they're able to infuse it with some grunginess, with some heaviness that brings it into a more modern era, gives it that crunch and that thing to grab hold of, and lead you through an incredible track listing. So getting into some of the tracks here on the record, it starts with a very short introduction and the Buried Rise with some a cappella harmonies before getting into the heavier rock vibe. Beyond Repair is a very poppy type track that I think was maybe one of the singles they released before the record. Some prominent bass work, shuffling drums, and acoustic guitar with great melodious vocals in the chorus. We get a bit of a heavier feel in the chorus. 3 minutes in, there's a little bit of an instrumental interlude that introduces some heavy keys and a big atmosphere before we get back to that really catchy chorus. It's a really great, fun, driving track. Forged in the Furnace is another poppier track that I believe was also released as an early single. Starts with some distant guitar and prominent vocals before the band explodes with a harder edged rock sound and an anthemic feel, big catchy hooks, and a chorus that's to die for with some great vocal harmonies. Just really beautiful track. After the Fallout is one of my favorite tracks that just is an earworm that I can't get out of my brain. Just has some really great melodies, a really great epic piece of arena rock infused with clever elements and sublime melodic hooks. Halfway through, there's a clever, quirky instrumental bit with prominent keys and quirky melodies before they hit those big chords and get back to the main meat of the song. Just a really beautiful track. and the hook just really drives the song and keeps it in your brain. The Lessons They Bring is really the centerpiece of the album. This is the longest track at 9 minutes. Really great flow to it, and it really has a lot of different sections, and it's the most proggy piece on the album, I would contend. Opens with a bit more of an atmospheric type feel with post-rock guitars before we get into more of a bright Jellyfish inspired vocal line and a solid groove. I love the more laid back vibe that this track has. Some really beautiful vocal harmonies accentuate this piece also, and there's just such a melodic earworm of a chorus that I just can't get out of my brain either. Halfway through, there's some great guitar soloing and proggy instrumental type workout, leading to the second half with a beautiful vocal over some acoustic guitar, leading to a bit of a hypnotic melody leading to the end of the track. Just a really great, beautiful track that showcases their ability to have these catchy pop hooks, but done in a way that feels progressive and feels more interesting than just your standard pop fare. American Mystic, the title track, is a catchy track, bit of a gradual burn, more of a mood piece with a great atmosphere, but it explodes in the second half with heavier bass, drums, and guitars, and fantastic bright vocals. Really big sound at the end that is really earned as it drives and leads to that ending. Steal the Love is just a great solid rock song with a great hook of a chorus that isn't very proggy, but just really expertly crafted rock music. Love Letters is a really cool, heavier track that blends this heavier, harder rocking sound with these Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young style harmonies over the top of it, just really adding to an intense energy, and it's really fun to listen to. And Lay Down the Cross ends the album in a pretty big way with some big energy, heavy drums and guitars. Has a bit of a lighter, more ballad feel at times, but very confident vocals and a big anthemic sing-along style chorus with some interesting, almost psychedelic tinges to it as well. So really leaves the album on a high note with some great build-ups, soaring to some epic heights, and you're just left feeling satisfied with a really great listen. So it's just a really solid rock album with some progressive leanings if you're into catchy hooks, but music that goes beyond just the standard pop formula. This is a really great listen. I like how it feels more modern and fresh. It doesn't feel just like a throwback 70s record. They're really bringing in some modern, heavier rock influences, but they're not getting rid of some of the fantastic, catchy melodies that you might expect from 70s pop and rock. So it's a really great blend. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a fantastic record. Well worth checking out if you're interested in the types of description that I gave. They have some really great records in their back catalog as well, so definitely a cool band to dive into and explore further. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope you appreciated this review, found something to enjoy here, and please go out and check out this music. It's really worth hearing. So thank you guys again, and I'll catch you guys hopefully in a future review or future episode. Bye everybody!